Hey guys, George at SoundTraxx here. This week, we're going to talk about one of our more popular accessories called the CurrentKeeper. What is it? What does it do for you? And what are the cons? Yes, there can be cons to the CurrentKeeper, so let's get started. Now, first off, let's talk about what the CurrentKeeper is. Now, the CurrentKeeper is a bank of capacitors that helps store power for the decoder. It basically extends the onboard storage for power so the decoder can use that power for things like the motor, the lights, the audio amplifier, processor, and more. Now, this is a great addition to the hobby, but is it the best solution for everything? Now, I know there's a lot of people out there that absolutely swear by them and they put them in everything, and fantastic, we want to sell them to you. So don't take this video the wrong way. I'm not trying to discourage you from using CurrentKeepers. I'm just wanting to kind of highlight some of the pitfalls that may be there and what a CurrentKeeper can actually do. Now, the CurrentKeeper will store power, and it actually allows the decoder to use the power during momentary losses of track power. So like, say for example here, I'm going to go ahead and use my Pittsburgh Lake Erie here. I'm going to start moving in the forward direction at speed step 10. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to pick it up, and it's still moving on the table for a few seconds. So what it's actually doing is it's actually maintaining the onboard power supply to keep things like the motor and the sound and all that stuff running while there's no power to the decoder. So this is great for if there's a dead spot. For example, I know a real common one is frogs that are unpowered, and then points may or may not be making perfect contact and being able to conduct electricity. So things like the CurrentKeeper will help you get past those dead spots. It can also help overcome some minor glitches in, say, the track power pickup on the wheels, getting to the decoder, because inevitably you have the wheels that are rolling on the rails, but then the power has to get from the wheels to a wire, so there's usually a wiper, or in the case of like an older Athearn blue box engine, you have a bushing behind the axle, and then that bushing sits in a metal plate, and then the wire's attached to the metal plate. So every one of those potential moving parts is a hazard for the electricity to get to the decoder. And so it's imperative to keep those clean, but I'm jumping ahead of myself. So a lot of people will install a CurrentKeeper because it gives you power for up to 10 seconds of stay alive while you're running. Now, if I was to run the locomotive and just pick it up, it's going to stay alive for more than 10 seconds because there's not much drain on the power other than the processor and the amplifier, and it's still making sound. So I'm going to go ahead and put that back on the track. But what it does is that it does also have some circuitry in there, some special circuitry to help slow the inrush charge rate. Because when you're looking at a bunch of models on a layout, let's say for example, that has a bunch of stay alive capacitors, when you turn your system on, all that power goes in to charge those capacitors. Your DCC system may detect that as a short because of the amount of current being drawn and shut down. So we've got special circuitry to help slow the charging rate. Now, our CurrentKeepers take about 90 seconds to fully charge, but can be discharged in about 10 seconds or less, depending on, of course, your model. So does this actually solve the track pickup issue? Not necessarily. As I mentioned, that few seconds of stay alive power will help keep you running over momentary dead spots. So again, if I start moving and I pick up the model, you can see it still moves. And for momentary track pickup losses, it's going to be fine. But what's going to happen is if you're constantly relying on the CurrentKeeper to keep running, eventually it's going to shut down because it cannot stay alive, but then it takes 90 seconds to charge. Whoops. So, got a little Godzilla-y there with the hands. But when we're constantly running, this has a CurrentKeeper, but it's stopping every time I pick up power. The reason is because the CurrentKeeper hasn't had time to charge. So I'm going to go ahead and bring my train to a stop. We're going to let it charge for a few seconds, and then you'll see that you need to let the CurrentKeeper charge. So this can help mask potential track pickup issues. Now, is that fantastic? Great, absolutely, it does help. But what will happen, and we get a lot of calls on this, is that somebody will say, I've got a CurrentKeeper in it, but after after a few minutes, or maybe even just 30 seconds, a minute or two of running, it starts shutting down again. Well, as I've demonstrated, that's because the CurrentKeeper hasn't had time to charge. It's the same thing. If you have a small hose, garden hose, and you're filling up a gas tank, but then to use that fuel, you're dropping the bottom of the gas tank out, eventually the tank's going to run dry, and it takes a while for that garden hose to fill it back up before you have fuel again. And that's kind of the illusion here we're talking about with the CurrentKeeper. So now that we've run my locomotive again, we're going to go ahead and get it moving, and you'll notice that now that I've given it time to charge, my CurrentKeeper will run just fine, knowing that it has the power to charge up. Now, here's another instance that I've seen, is that when the CurrentKeeper is being relied upon for delivery of track power, one of the pitfalls can be the fact that it's not receiving a DCC signal. Because if it's not getting track power, of course it's not going to get the DCC signal coming from the rails. So in this particular instance, I'm going to illustrate this to you. I'm going to go ahead and blow the horn, and I'm going to stop talking while it's happening so you can hear it happen. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to blow the horn, I'm going to tip the locomotive over, I'm going to release the horn, and then set the locomotive down, and tell me if the horn goes out. Because what's happened is that the DCC command to turn on the horn is turn on F2, the decoder plays the horn. But when I lose track power for a moment and that signal goes out, the decoder doesn't receive the signal, so it continues doing what it's doing. When I release the button, the command is turn off F2. And this is the only momentary button on a DCC signal that you can access, where you push it, it plays the sound, you release, and the sound stops. Every other sound will continually play until you turn the function off. Now, just for you guys with NCE, the 2 key down here is no longer momentary, so I have to turn it off to illustrate that method for you. So what will happen is, if you're relying on the CurrentKeeper to run your train down the track with intermittent power, what can happen is you may get a decoder that seems to be misbehaving, but it's actually doing exactly what it's being told to do, because it can't respond to a command if it's not getting the track power, which is where the DCC command is based. So ultimately the question is going to be, how do we solve this? Where do we find that balance? Well, a CurrentKeeper installation doesn't mean that you can stop cleaning your wheels, you can stop cleaning your wipers, you can stop cleaning your rails. It just means that it gives you an insurance policy against a momentary hiccup. Now, where a CurrentKeeper really comes into play is if you do have some dead spots, as long as you keep your track clean and everything, you can probably get past those dead spots occasionally, but with the pitfalls and the discussions that we've just had. Now, when it comes to the Blunami, which these locomotives are, but I'm using them on the DCC system, when it comes to the Blunami, when you lose track power, you'll notice here when this locomotive, I'm going to go ahead and run this guy for a second. When I start running him at speed step 10, and of course he's starting up slow with some momentum, but when I take power away, there's no CurrentKeeper. But because the signal is embedded in the track, when I restore track power, my locomotive continues running. Now with a Blunami, if you do lose track power, what can happen is it takes a few moments to reconnect to the app, because the processor has to wake up, and then the Bluetooth has to broadcast, then it has to connect. So a CurrentKeeper is really going to be beneficial when it comes to the Blunami installations. However, again, if you keep your track power or your track surface clean, your wheels clean, your wipers clean, chances are you probably don't need one. Many of you guys have seen this model at a trade show. Obviously, it doesn't have a CurrentKeeper in it, so when we're running it on the table, the 6 wheels of track power on this particular model work just fine. But again, is that the insurance policy you're looking for? Look at the CurrentKeeper. Now, another thing is, if you have a model that is very, very poor when it comes to track power, let's just for argument's sake say you're doing an early brass model where the locomotive on the steam engine is picking up track power on the left rail and the tender's picking up on the right rail. Well, now we have limited wheels picking up power on each rail. So in those particular cases, a CurrentKeeper may help, but it's not necessarily going to solve the problem, because again, when you send your DCC command out, your decoder is going to ignore it if it's living on the CurrentKeeper. So in some of those cases, you'll want to add wipers to that model so that that way you can enhance the track pickup and take advantage of all the wheels on the rails. Now, we do have some videos where I've showed you how to add wipers. Now, granted, most of these are on plastic models, but if you take that wiper, a phosphor bronze wire, put it on a piece of printed circuit board, or you can solder it to a piece of brass and tape that down on top of the mechanism or whatever, you can insulate that from the frame so you don't end up with a direct short. There's always methods to do it. But the other thing is that when you're looking at a model, for example, we'll use this particular one, when you're picking up power for a CurrentKeeper equipped model, electricity always follows the shortest path of least resistance, which means even in this particular case, you have 6 wheels on each rail picking up track power. But what that's telling you is that the bulk of the electrical power is maybe being picked up by 1 wheel on this side and 1 wheel on this side. But as the wheel turns, what's known as the tangent point, which is the part that's actually touching the rail, as it rolls, lifts, and power has to be reestablished either through the same wheel, or it may jump to another wheel because of some internal property. Maybe a piece of dirt got in the way. And so even in the case of a big boy with 100 wheels on each rail, the bulk of the electrical power is being picked up by 1 wheel. So adding wipers, what it's doing is it's giving the electricity more paths to follow to get to the decoder so that it has a reliable power source. And a CurrentKeeper will help, but as we've talked about, it's not necessarily the one-size-fits-all solution. If you're still having track power pit issues, even with a CurrentKeeper, you may need to look at things like cleaning your wheels a little more regularly, adding wipers where necessary to help double up or enhance the track pickup that you do have. And of course, you know, there's a lot of different solutions out there depending on the model. So we're always one step or one phone call away if you need. We're an email away. If you need any help or guidance, we'll certainly do our best to help you out. So this is a lot of information. I hope this has been helpful for you, but this is a deeper dive into the CurrentKeeper, what it can do for you, and how to use it. Now, when it comes to the CurrentKeeper, we actually have 2 different formats. We have basically what I call the original CurrentKeeper, which is long and skinny, and then we have the CurrentKeeper 2, which is short and fat. Both of them electronically are exactly the same. They're just in different formats to help give you an avenue so that way you can fit them into different models. So for example, in this particular one, I have long and skinny. In this one, I probably would use long and skinny as well, because this installation would be very similar to the E8 installation that I did a few weeks ago on our YouTube channel. But in some models, you may not have that space, and so short and fat will actually fit better. So be sure to check out the dimensions on our website at SoundTraxx.com so that you can pick the right CurrentKeeper for you. That's everything I've got this week, guys. I appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel so that way we can continue to get great content out there, and also be sure to click that notification bell so that when new videos drop, you'll be notified when there's a new video to watch. Anyway, we'll see you guys next time. Thank you.